What's up guys, it's week 5 of my Oktoberfest experiment and I got 3 American brews to try out. What's up guys, Sargent Suds here with part 5 of my Oktoberfest experiment. I had originally planned for this to be a 4-week thing, but here's number 5. Looks like I'll probably have number 6 next week. So go ahead and subscribe if you like beer, because as I said, 4 other parts already filmed, another one coming up, and plenty of other reviews popping up as well. So do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. And if you do enjoy the video, remember to like the video as well. So this week we are coming back to the States. Obviously, the last episode, which I'll leave a card up here and links below for the other videos, just so you know. The last video we did 3 German beers, being Oktoberfest and all. And today I'm bringing it back to the States. I have Real Ale out of Texas, I have Bell's out of Michigan, and I have Josephsbrau, or Trader Joe's, which is brewed in California. Now, for those of you who are sort of new to my channel or my website, Real Ale, based here in Texas, one of my favorite breweries, expecting big things. Bell's, known probably mostly for its Two-Hearted Ale. I know that they do a lot more than that, but probably their biggest name is a Two-Hearted Ale. Hugely respected in the beer community. Haven't tried it yet, have one in the fridge. Looking forward to trying that one out eventually, but what I have had of theirs has been great as well. And Josephsbrau, now it might be a little surprised to hear this, but Trader Joe's home brand of beer is pretty good. I've done their Hefeweizen before, I've done their summer beer as well. Both were great. I was really surprised, and the great thing about Josephsbrau, it's dirt cheap. It's like $1.10 a bottle or something like that. So yeah, I'm expecting big things this week, and I'm excited to try them out. That said, let's go ahead. We'll start with the Josephsbrau. So again, it is the home brand of Trader Joe's, which is sort of a upscale, I guess you would say, supermarket chain here. They're known for having mostly their own brands. I think they may be partially owned or inspired or something by Aldi, if you're familiar with that from outside the US, although I think Aldi is opening stores on the East Coast as well. But Trader Joe's, known for having a lot of their own house brands, being very well priced, generally organic-y or upscale type stuff. And as I said, their beer in the past has been really good. So this is the Josephsbrau Oktoberfest. So what we're seeing here, a little bit deep-ish color, maybe a little lighter than a lot of the other beers I've looked at in the past few weeks. Very highly carbonated. I'm not sure if you can see that bubbling away right there. It did grow a little bit of a head, but that's pretty much dissipated to this point, and there's no lacing on the beer. So let's see. Smell-wise, toasted malts, maybe a tiny little bit of hops. Again, the sort of things we're expecting from an Oktoberfest style beer, but let's see how it tastes. Okay, it's very malt forward, very toasted. It tastes, again, like the Marzens that I would expect. Well, actually, as we discussed last week, it tastes like the American equivalent of a Marzen that I've tried many times here, but the German ones themselves didn't taste so much like this. It's got a little bit of thickness in the mouthfeel. It starts off crisp, but it does have like a little bit of a body to it. As I said, very malt forward. Tiny little bit of hoppy bitterness at the end, but nothing too crazy going on there. That said, it's a reasonable beer. I suppose we'll see how it stacks up against the other two. Alrighty, beer number 2. Let's go with the Bell's. So again, Bell's, based out of, I believe, Kalamazoo in Michigan. Never been to Michigan. I think that's a little bit outside of Detroit. I think it's a college town from what I understand, but I'm probably wrong. So, feel free to correct me in the comments below if I've said something that, is completely inaccurate and probably offended those from Michigan. Alrighty, so again, Oktoberfest beer by Bell's. Again, it's got a little bit of a toasted color to it, but nothing too crazy here. It did build a reasonable head that's holding its shape. It looks like it might lace a little bit, but it's a little too early to tell. Again, very, very highly carbonated. So let's see. This one doesn't smell as malt forward. It smells kind of hoppier, more lagery, I guess. Although I suppose a Marzen is theoretically a lager, or technically a lager. So it's a lot lighter in the flavor. It's not as toasted malty. It tastes like a slightly heavier American lager, not like a Budweiser or anything. Like, it has some substance to it. It actually tastes like a good beer, but it's definitely lighter and crisper. The body is not as thick. It's a pretty nice beer, to be honest with you. And again, you know, I tried my first beer from Bell's maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. You don't see a ton of it here in San Antonio, Texas. Obviously, it's come from quite a distance, but you know, this is pretty good. And honestly, I'm probably thinking this is the front runner at this point. But we have one to go, so let's see how we do with the Real Ale. So, guys, Real Ale based in Blanco, Texas, I guess. Like an hour and a half out of San Antonio, maybe. You see a lot of their beer here in San Antonio. Every one of their beers I've had is great. Their Fireman's 4, their Devil's Backbone, Pinsetter, Lost Gold. There isn't a single one of their beers that I've tried yet that I didn't enjoy. So I'm expecting pretty big things, and I really do like the packaging, I must say, on this one, you know, for what it's worth. But I guess the most important thing is the beer. So let's see what we got. So it looks like it's pouring maybe a little lighter than the other two, but not a crazy difference. It doesn't build as much of a head, nor does it appear to be. I mean, it's carbonated, just not as much. The coloration, about the same, I guess. Smell-wise, it's nothing overly strong coming out. It's sort of relatively generic beer smell. I'm not really getting the notes of like a Marzen or an Oktoberfest that I would necessarily expect. But it's very malty. You know what I like about this is it's got kind of the toasted malt flavor you would expect of the Oktoberfest, the Marzen style, but it's still really light and crisp and more lagery. You know, when you talk about European beers, particularly sort of cooler weather beers, they tend to get thicker, heavier, and there's a time and place for that. I do like that, but this is an interesting combination that it has like the flavor profile of what you would expect from those beers at this time of year, but it doesn't have, I guess, the hazy, thick kind of mouthfeel to it, and it feels super light. I feel like you could drink many of these without sort of feeling weighed down or bloated as you might do with something that's a bit thicker. So this is a good beer. I mean, all three of them have been pretty good. So no surprise to you at this point, I'd say the Josephsbrau comes in third. It's a bit of a shootout here. You know, they were both really good beers. Bell's, as I said, a little thicker, a bit lighter on the flavor profile, whereas Real Ale had a sort of deeper flavor, but more sort of thin and crisp. I'm probably going to have to go with the Real Ale. I'm, as I said, a big fan, maybe a little bit of bias there, but as I said, all three of these beers are great. If you see any of them, I recommend picking them up, and depending on where you are, I mean, if you're outside of Texas, I don't know how likely it is you'll find a Real Ale. Bell's you might find easier. If you go to a Trader Joe's, I know they're everywhere, you probably can find the Josephsbrau the easiest, but all great beers. Yeah, it's been another great week. As I said, if you haven't checked out the last four, look in the description here or up here somewhere. I'll have links to it. You know, if you've enjoyed this, there's plenty of other beers there, and as I said, got another one coming up next week. So if you have enjoyed this, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe to my channel. Plenty more beer content coming out in the near future, and I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, cheers.